someone tried to sell my business even though they don't own it. Here's the story. I'm Natalie Lussier, founder of Access Ally, the most powerful WordPress-based solution for online course creators who want to scale seamlessly. Today I'm talking about this very weird situation that happened to us a few months ago where someone put up accessally.com for sale on flippa.com. And flippa.com, if you're not familiar, is a domain selling type of auction place. So basically, if you have a domain that you've been sitting on for a while, you're not using it, you would put it up there for sale. And maybe you might also sell the business that's behind that domain if you are setting up a whole business behind a domain. So very quickly, someone in the WordPress business selling space picked up on the Access Allies for Sale news, and they published it to their newsletter. And then I got a message very quickly after that from a friend saying, hey, are you selling Access Ally? This looks a little bit suspicious. My first reaction was, no, we're not for sale. And if you've watched some of my other videos here on YouTube about, selling businesses and what I think about capitalism and all of these things, you'll definitely also agree that it was kind of suspicious. So I clicked over and then I checked out the Flippa listing, and it said accessally.com is for sale, and the price that they put on the domain or the business was $40,000. And they were basically basing it off of the traffic to the website. So they were assuming that we were making about $10,000 per month, and they were selling it at a certain multiple and all of that stuff. So I looked at this listing and I was like, wow, that is extremely funky, because they had just copy and pasted our about page and kind of just what Access Ally was. And it was clear that they didn't even know what our software did or really anything behind it, but it looked legit in terms of our domain name on there. So I quickly flagged it to the Flippa team, because they have people who work there who check to make sure that no one is scamming anyone. And I kind of, reached out to the newsletter writer, and immediately he sent a correction saying like, oh, actually, Access Ally is not for sale. We've notified Flippa that this was a false listing. And, the listing came down, but then very quickly, within an hour or so, the listing came back up again. And I was getting really annoyed and frustrated, because I didn't want to be spending my day just playing whack-a-mole with Flippa to try to remove all these false listings. And the numbers kept fluctuating. So sometimes they would ask for 100,000 or 20,000 or $5. And it was really, really interesting that Flippa couldn't seem to stop them from posting this listing, and it kept coming back up. And I would leave comments on Flippa, because you can do that, and I would say, hey, I'm the real owner of the domain, and I checked my domain register multiple times to make sure I still owned the domain and everything looked fine on my end. We hadn't been hacked, no one had any of our passwords or anything like that, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why this kept happening. And finally, one of the people in the Access Ally community, one of our experts, posted a screenshot that had Access Ally with an S missing. And that's when I realized that they had bought a domain that looks a lot like accessally.com, but it's a misspelling of our domain. And they had forwarded that domain over to accessally.com, which is why when you clicked on the domain from Flippa, it took you to our website, and they also had screenshots of our website and everything too. But they initially posted accessally.com, the regular spelling, but they, behind the scenes, were using their essentially fake misspelled domain. And so that's how they got around being able to post. And I thought this was the most fascinating thing. I was definitely pretty annoyed by the whole situation, but also it taught me a lot about the benefits of community and being very clear with your people on what your goals are and what it is that you are creating. So if I hadn't been so vocal about Access Ally and our plugin and how things work in our community and how well we're doing, we're an over $1 million a year business, so clearly would not be selling for $40,000. So we had people reach out to us as soon as they saw that it looked suspicious. And so I think there are so many benefits to building relationships with people in your community, so that when some fraudulent, weird stuff like this happens, which it will, as you get bigger and bigger, people will let you know. And so we were able to finally get all the listings off of Flippa. They understood once we told them about the domain that they were forwarding to our real domain, that there was really nothing behind the domain that they were trying to sell, that there was no business behind it and no traffic to that domain. Now, that is no longer an issue, and they were able to finally completely take that down, and they banned that user. So it's really, really interesting what kind of things people get up to in the online space to try to make money. But I think it really comes down to having a great product, having a great course or offering, and knowing that you have a relationship with the people in your world. I think that is really the most important thing, because at the end of the day, yes, people could buy a domain that's just like yours, but they don't have the business behind it. They don't have your relationship with your customers and all of the work that you put into creating your courses and your memberships and your content, and the relationship is really the biggest thing at the end of the day. So if you ever get into a weird situation like this too, just know that it is handleable. It's something you can figure out. It's something you can get over. It's something that you can have people rally behind you if you need it to help take down any scammy websites or anything like that. But from there, you will actually just get stronger and stronger. So now people know a little bit more about Access Ally. They know a little bit more that we're not for sale and that we're not going to be selling our website on Flippa. So if you have anything similar that has happened to you, whether it was in a different niche or a different market, go ahead and leave a comment below, because I'm really curious to see what else people are up to when they're trying to scam other people online, just so that we can all protect ourselves a little bit better. So if you found this interesting, make sure to watch my other video all about my take on capitalism and whether you should sell your business or not. I'll catch you next time.